I believe the Denver Nuggets winning a championship would be the best possible outcome for the NBA. It would restore the feeling because right now the NBA feels like baseball. And speaking of baseball, how many of you guys know who won the World Series last year? I would guess at least 50% of people watching this video do not know the Rangers won the World Series last year. Yes, that's a very casual take for me, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all of you guys knew that. I didn't know that. But the reason I bring it up is because there's been 6 different champions 6 straight years in Major League Baseball. When it was Warriors, Cavs in the finals every single year, all we talked about was how we wanted parity. But I don't feel like we really want parity. And last year, the Nuggets winning made 5 different champions 5 straight years in the NBA. Something that had not happened since the late 70s, early 80s, and I'm not sure we've ever seen 6 different champions 6 straight years. And I'm not sure we actually want that. Now look, we can have Luka go on a crazy run. That would be an amazing story. We can have Tatum finally get a ring and whatever. All of it is good, right? We're diehard basketball fans. If you're watching this, you're probably a diehard basketball fan. So for you, you're gonna watch regardless, right? But casuals are what grow the game. Casuals becoming diehard fans grows the game, and OKC winning a championship would be a crazy story. I'm not sure how many casuals are gonna care about that. But if Jokic goes back-to-back, 3-time MVP, 2-time champion, all of a sudden that's not casual anymore. And I should mention, I'm a Pelicans fan. Right now in the standings, we are matching up with the Denver Nuggets. Yes, I'm rooting for my team. I'm just talking about what's best for basketball. And if Nikola Jokic were to separate himself from the competition, even though most people would agree, most basketball fans would agree he's already separated himself, it's kind of hard to make that claim when Giannis has 2 MVPs in the ring already, when Joel Embiid has an MVP, was on the verge of getting his 2nd MVP. All this happening while Jokic is in his prime, while Luka might get an MVP. If Luka gets a ring or Joel Embiid gets a ring, that separation isn't really there. If Jokic gets ring number 2, MVP number 3, the conversation no longer is about his peers. We're comparing him to guys like LeBron James or Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. I know how simple that sounds, I know how dumb that sounds, but a lot of times that's what grows the game. That type of conversation. And also the idea of having a team to root against. Since the NBA has been a thing, we've always had a team everybody loved or everybody loved to hate. Again, this is a very casual take, but even when you think about the history of the game, what's one era of basketball we really don't talk about? We talk about Russell Celtics, and then we don't really talk about the mid to late 70s and early 80s because that was a time full of parity. But mid-80s, Bird versus Magic, we love that time, leading into the Bad Boy Pistons, leading into Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Again, casual. If you were a diehard fan in the 90s, Jordan probably ruined, well, not ruined, but kind of made people forget about all the great basketball being played in the 90s. No one remembers the Gary Payton-John Stockton rivalry because Jordan was winning anyway. No one really remembers the Charles Barkley-Hakeem Olajuwon rivalry. We kind of remember Olajuwon versus David Robinson. We kind of remember that rivalry, but only because Jordan retired at that time, not saying Hakeem wouldn't have won. I'm just drawing that comparison because we might end up seeing something like that with Nikola Jokic. If Nikola Jokic wins the next 2 championships, no one's gonna remember the Knicks versus Heat rivalry in the East, you know, if that becomes a thing, right? So there is a negative thing to what I'm saying. Guys like Charles Barkley, Gary Payton should probably be celebrated even more, but they weren't because Jordan existed. And Nikola Jokic is not gonna be Jordan. He's not gonna go 6-0, but if he wins this championship, that does a lot for the casual fans of this sport. Yes, people think he's boring right now, but let him win another championship. Let people tell you Nikola Jokic is better than LeBron. All of a sudden, people really care. Like all the people that would hate watch LeBron and say he's not Michael Jordan or he's not even Kobe, it's all stupid, yes, but sports, it's dumb. We love it. We love debating with people about sports. And as of right now, what are we talking about in the NBA? We're more focused on LeBron and Steph than Nikola Jokic. And let me say it one more time. This is a very casual take. I'm a diehard NBA fan. I'm extremely excited to see OKC. I want to see how Anthony Edwards performs with this pressure on him. I would be ecstatic if the Pelicans beat the Nuggets. But could you imagine the drama next year? If the Nuggets win this year, the casual fan would be tuning in next year to see, is this a dynasty or is Luka gonna knock him off? Or Will they get a rematch with the Celtics in the finals and the Celtics are gonna knock them off? I'm just saying the hype and drama around this league seems to be at an all-time low, and Nikola Jokic going out there and claiming this as his era would bring that back to a certain degree. It's never gonna be 73-9 against LeBron. That's crazy. But with all that being said, if the Pelicans match up with the Nuggets in the first round, go Pels.